What is up, guys? Happy Friday. It is T. Kyle here, and welcome to another weekend chat here on YouTube. Thank you, as always, for being subscribed, and if you're not subscribed, please click the button below if you like these videos every single week and you want to get notified when they go live. I'm running a little later today, but you know, it's fine. But yeah, so this week I have a couple exciting things to talk about. It is a much more optimistic video this week. And yeah, the first one, I'm just gonna jump right in, and I have notes this week. You guys know sometimes I have notes. I think that's why it was a little bit later this week, because I was like really just brainstorming. Like, I love to brainstorm in the shower. And so like this morning I had music on, and I was like thinking of this idea and this idea and this idea and this idea. And I was like, I need to write this all down. So I was writing all this stuff down, and I was like, oh, I need to film a weekend chat. So today we're gonna be chatting about a potential weekend chat podcast, which if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw me talk about this last week because I started making art for it that I wanted to like run by a friend to just check it for like legal stuff. And we're going to be talking about that podcast. Also addressing a rude comment that was left here on my channel last week that I'm going to just inspired like a little bit of a, just something that I wanted to say. And my response is kind of inspired by Colleen Ballinger. She is Miranda Sings here on YouTube, if you know who that is. She has been receiving a lot of like really negative stuff, and so we'll chat about that. And then lastly, just moving forward, I finished the Shane Dawson Jeffree Star series, and I loved it. I thought it was great. And I was kind of inspired by it. And so taking what I took away from that series and kind of the bullet points from it that I wanted to like talk about here that inspired me. If you have not seen it, I highly recommend it. Put it on your weekend playlist. It's very good and very insightful. So yeah, let's just jump right into the first topic, which is a weekend chat podcast. And I just remembered, before we get started, I am here as always with my Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee, which is going to be a topic of discussion in this podcast segment. Also, it got really dark out. Like, come on, cloud, like, move. Was that thunder? But it's sunny out. Okay, whatever, work. Not sponsored. Okay, so yes, so I have the opportunity to make these weekend chats into a podcast. Well, not the opportunity. That makes it sound like someone else like offered me an opportunity to turn it. No, I have the ability to make this into a podcast form. So if you do watch this video, you would be able to listen to it on a podcast instead. So they would both live parallel to each other. It wouldn't be like I would start the podcast and stop doing this. It would literally just be like me exporting this audio. You know, I upload this video like normal to YouTube, and then I take the audio and I put it on a podcast form on iTunes. And I was inspired by, because I just want to share and give shout outs to like everything that I get my ideas from, because I feel like that's important as a creative person, to, you know, share where you get your ideas and inspirations from. So you guys also know that I've been very invested in politics this year. I've already talked about like the reasons why, but if you are new to this channel or you're new to me talking about that, basically the inspiration really just comes from, you know, I grew up in New Jersey. Trump like had all these business dealings in Atlantic City and just really, really fucked up things in New Jersey. It really destroyed like our tourism and our economy, and just, it was just really bad. And there was like all this criminal activity that happened, and they got away with it. Like they just, as always, got away with it. And so fast forward to like now, I'm sort of just very invested in like watching justice prevail. And I do think that there will be a downfall, and all these people who, you know, started, you know, it's other places too, you know, the university and the steaks and the vodka and all the Atlantic City hotels, and you know, it's all a scam, it's all a sham, it's all fraud, it's all criminal, it's all money laundering. And they're going down, and I very much believe that, and I'm so excited for it. Coming soon, 2019. But that's kind of why I've been so interested in like the law and legal stuff. And if you are as well, but you're overwhelmed by all of it, because there's a lot, there is a lot. It's constant every single day. If you are overwhelmed by that and you kind of want like a, I don't want to say dummies guide, because that's like, it's like, we're not dumb, but it's, what's that thing called where it's like, you know, like you're in school and you don't want to read the book, and so you just like get this other book about the book. What is it? Cliff Notes. Wig. Cliff Notes. If you want Cliff Notes of what is going on every single day, there is a woman on Facebook. Her name is Elizabeth Cronus McLaughlin. Resistance Live. She does a Facebook live stream every weekday around 11 a.m. or noon, and she just does bullet points. So it's like an 18, 20-minute recap, like really quickly. She's a lawyer. She has like law experience. She was from New York, moved to California, and she just gives you like a boom, 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 quick questions answered. She sums up, you know, she gives you like legal terms, like what does this word mean? What does this legally mean? And it's just super quick. And that is my go-to now, because I'm just like, I don't subscribe to the whole media thing. Like, I think, I don't like listening to commentators. I don't care. Like, I think that hurts everything. I don't want to listen to people arguing about like, I want facts, cover it up, law, definitions, numbers, you know, I want it, give it to me straight, girl. And that's what she does. So anyway, that was a whole rant. But she does this Facebook live stream in video form, and then she exports that video and then uploads it to podcast. And so I was like, oh, you know, some days I find myself watching the Facebook live, like on my phone if I'm just sitting. But then other times I want to listen to it when I'm on the subway or I'm commuting or I'm at work and I don't want, you know, this like video on my screen. So I listen to it in podcast form. So I thought I could do something similar where, you know, people are commuting and they want to listen to my video, or they just don't want to, video also takes a lot of data up, like especially YouTube. If you're streaming this video, you know, to see the space, 15 megabytes a second, girl. So I thought like logistically it could be helpful for you guys if you do like watching this video or listening to this video. You don't need necessarily to see me, I guess. Like you could just listen to it. So if you like that idea, let me know in the comments below. Leave just like yes, podcast, or just in the comments if that's something you're interested in. It would not replace the video, don't worry. Like I would still do the video and sit here and film. Also, like if you were listening to this in the podcast, you wouldn't see it, but like the sun is literally just like, yes, it goes away, yes. So I'm like, now I look good in the light. So yeah, I'm thinking about doing that. It is an investment that I would have to make of time and also money. I would have to pay to have this service available to me to be able to easily upload and to get those online. Also, I need to change my key art. My friend who's a lawyer said that he thinks there could be a problem because it looks like a Dunkin' Donuts cup, and because I drew the straw, which is like their classic like orange with the pink stripe, that he just said like you just could run into a problem at some point. And like, not that I'm getting thousands of views, but I don't want there to be anything you know, you always want to make sure that you vet your imagery and your audio, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? I just wouldn't want any problems at all to begin with. Also, like if I were to get it submitted to Apple, they could, you know, I don't know, but I don't, it's weird because like I see other people's podcasts that like have photos of like celebrities as the cover, and it's fine. So I don't know, but I always have bad luck with copyright stuff, so I'm just not trying to take any chances. But anyway, if that's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments below. And also, I was thinking if I do make it a podcast, there would have to be I would want to add something to this weekend chat that is like more fun. And I thought about, how I like doing these favorite videos, but I don't always have a ton of stuff to talk about. But I would be able to find like one thing a week that I'm obsessed with, like a song. Like what I'm shaking my tits to this week is the idea that I had. So every weekend chat would have a, this is what I'm shaking my tits to this week moment. And what I am shaking my tits to this week is Gimme 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 by Cher. Buy it on iTunes, stream it on Spotify, not sponsored by either. But that's kind of what I was thinking too, was like, if I made this a podcast, how can I like add more to this or change this? Not change it, but add a new layer to it to make it fun and to kind of break it up a little bit, because, podcasts are, you want to, I don't know, like just, we're all going to have fun. I don't know what else to say. But that's that. And yeah, so moving on. The other thing I wanted to chat about this week was a rude comment that I received here on my last video last week. It was just really rude, and I wasn't upset by it in terms of like, I actually was like offended or upset by it. It was more just like my patience for that kind of stuff is gone, and it was also like very misinformed. Like the things that this person wrote were just like, you didn't even watch the video. So it's like someone's just going to my channel and leaving something negative and making assumptions and just not correctly even criticizing me. It was just like rude and it was misinformed. Whereas like if you want to like and this was inspired by Colleen Ballinger's, I don't know, is it Colleen? I feel like I say both and I go in between both, whatever. But she's been receiving a lot of hate on her channel recently because she's pregnant and she's in pain, and she's been talking about her experience of being in pain and not sleeping and whatever, and people are like commenting, being like, oh, shut up, like no one cares, blah, 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 and they're really rude. And she made a comment in her one vlog where she was talking about like, how she said like she can take constructive criticism if you're nice about it, and if you're actually trying to be helpful, and if you're actually being supportive, and you're actually trying to be optimistically critical of something. Like she said, she's very open to criticism and being a better person and making changes, but like don't be an asshole about it. Don't be rude about it. And I just was sitting there and I was just like, yes, thank you. And I was shocked at all the hate that she was getting, because it's like she's pregnant, and like that's such a serious medical thing. And for people to be like rude about it, I was just stunned. And I don't know, maybe it's because I am probably twice the age of most of her audience. Like what her audience would be is like very young. So for me as an adult, knowing friends who have been pregnant, just being older and like knowing having personal medical problems and issues, and knowing like about pain and stuff like that. I don't know. I was just like, damn, like, why are people so, like, I just don't have time for it. That's really the biggest thing. And do I even want to, let me pause for a second. Let me think for a second before I speak. Have a sip of my not sponsored coffee. Also in the comment that was made was like saying that I'm like complaining and whatever, blah, 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 blah. Which, to be fair, sometimes I do. I watch back my weekend chats, obviously, while I'm editing it. And I will admit that there are times where I actually do cut out like chunks of my weekend chat, because I realize that I'm working towards a solution, but I'm going off on like a complaining moment. And so I cut it out because I'm like, I don't want to hear that again. I got it out, I got it off my chest, and now it's gone, it's done. It's out there, I vented it, and now she's done. So there are a lot of times where I do actually cut a lot of that stuff out. Also, this is my 62nd, 63rd weekend chat. Hi, where have you been? It's been over a year, girl. This is not anything new. This is what my weekend chat has been for over a year. Sometimes you get like work, fierce, fun, week. Sometimes you guys get like me being really upset or really run down. And the reason why that happens is because I'm being open and honest and transparent with you guys and letting you guys know that this is reality. Like, not everything is, you know, perfect face, perfect beat, nice hair, energetic, inspired, creative, motivated. Yes, let's go, like blah, 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 blah. Like, there are moments of like feeling like shit. Everyone has moments of feeling like shit, whether have millions of subscribers or whether you're just like at home and, you know, don't have an internet personality or don't want to be public online. Like, every single person has shit that goes on and personal stuff and medical stuff. And I just like to keep the doors open here. That's what makes my YouTube channel different than everything else that I do online. Everything else that I do online is me not like faking it, but like on Twitter, I keep my Twitter fun and I don't share the negative stuff or where I'm feeling bad. Like, I don't tweet about like, you know, I'm feeling down or I'm feeling run down. Like, I keep my Twitter front-facing tweets fun, and my Tumblr is like more fun with a little bit more personal stuff. And then here on YouTube, it's like the doors are open completely. I'm super transparent, super honest. And yeah, so I wasn't really like mad about this comment. It was more just like, I don't know. I feel like I make it a point to be really honest and open. And like, if you have a problem with that, like, fuck off. Like, that's kind of the point where I'm at now, is like, I feel like throughout this journey on here on YouTube, you know, I've gotten over insecurities like my voice. Like, if someone were to make fun of my voice now, I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Like, I know what it sounds like now on camera. I've done 60 something of these videos on top of the gaming videos were actually harder for me and more of a challenge for me because I felt like it was so focused on my, like, it was literally VO, like voice over on these games. And I did it because I wanted to do it, but also because I needed to get over that. I was like, I was so horrified of my voice being on, you know, in like crystal clear on this, like my microphone back there. I was mortified. I was like, oh my God, I sound awful. My voice, it's so nasally, and like all the things that I've ever been made fun of for my voice were just like hounding on me. And over time, I've gotten over it. Like, I honestly have. Like, I know what I sound like. I know exactly what I'm fine with it now. It's good. And that's why I've shared that with you guys months ago, years ago, years ago, I've talked about that. And now I'm sharing with you guys that, like, it's something that I'm over. And I hope that someone watching this video, if they have an insecurity about something, they can hear that and be like, okay, I have this insecurity. Like, I'm gonna challenge myself and put myself in situations where I feel uncomfortable so that I can get over my insecurity, because it's something that T. Kyle did. Like, I saw T. Kyle do it and, you know, go outside of his comfort zone, and now I feel inspired to do the same thing. And I think that's cool. I think that's what this platform does. You connect with people. I'm getting like heated about this because that comment really fucking pissed me off. That's what like this platform is. You know, you watch people and you connect with people online for a reason. Like, I want to be inspired by other people. I want to help other people and connect with them and let them know, like, hey, I'm going through that too, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then lastly, there were two other things I wanted to address with that comment. Oh, I just put up 4 fingers. 2 other things that I wanted to address with that comment. This was like the misinformation. You're like, oh, it was like, you're complaining about your sinuses for 10 minutes. Like, no one cares. I didn't say shit about my sinuses in the video at all whatsoever. There's nothing wrong with my sinuses. I have a deviated septum on the right side. I refuse to get nose surgery because I like my nose and I don't want them to like shove a fucking chisel up it or like scalp it back and like saw a hole through my nose. So there's that. And I shared with you an allergy that I have. I have a skin condition. It's an autoimmune disease. And this comment was like, I've like never talked about that. My friends in real life know about it. The people I went to college with know it because there were certain people I had to tell, like, I have an EpiPen. If you need to use it, this is what you do. I've never talked about that stuff at all. I've always kept it like very under the radar. Now the symptoms have gone down a lot, but my eyes still water a lot. Like, it's a result of this. My hands sometimes get really red if I hold a cold drink for too long. I still get hives if I go swim in a cold pool. It happened last summer. I went swimming with my sister and I broke out in like these huge like quarter-size welts all over my body. That's not my sinuses, girl. It's something that I've dealt with for years and I've never talked about because it was really like, it was mildly traumatizing when I was in college because it was really embarrassing to be out in public, to be out at a bar, to be out, like, I remember one time I was sitting out at, what's that bar called? It's like in this area, it's across from Mother Burger, Benny's Burritos, no, whatever that one, it's like over here, not sponsored. I broke out like in public. I'm like with these gays, like there's like, you know, cute guys everywhere. I'm out in public and I full on broke out in fucking hives, like all at my neck, my face, my arms. It was like, it was so horrifyingly embarrassing. I've never talked about that ever. So that was something like, that was me opening up and like wanting to share a story that's like kind of funny because I've learned to like laugh about it now, but also it's really rare. And so I thought it was kind of cool, you know, in a weird way. Like the silver lining is like, even though it sucks and it's been really embarrassing, it's still, I guess, a cool story to talk about. You know, it's weird. It's weird. You know, it's like not every day you hear like stories about that. Like if you Google cold urticaria, it's super rare. People don't talk about it. It's like really, so yeah, like that also was fucking annoying to me about this comment, was like, I'm sharing something with you. Like, I'm not complaining about it. And then lastly, about this comment, and then we'll be done, I promise, was the whole like, you're sick, like maybe if you weren't such a drunk, you wouldn't be so sick all the time. And that was half true. I will give you that. To be fair, you shouldn't be drinking alcohol if you're like not feeling good and feeling run down. So I 100% agree with that comment, that part of the comment. But I will also say, like, to call someone a drunk is so insulting. And I have friends who are sober and it's just like, I don't, like, don't fuck with me. Like, don't come on here and say that kind of shit. You guys see that because I film at the end of the week. And at the end of a really exhausting week, sometimes it is just so nice and so fun to sit with my coworkers and dick around and have drinks. And we did a full drag look on my coworker Vinny this week, and it was so funny. And I was laughing so hard, I was crying. Like, my coworkers are amazing, and they make me laugh sometimes. Like, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes I laugh so hard I literally cry. Like this week especially, like the other day we had a meeting, yesterday, my coworker Michael said something that was so stupidly funny and I was in tears and we were on a conference call and I had to mute the conference call. I was laughing so hard. So like, 1 second. Oh, forgive me. Vocals, that part of the comment, yes, is like half true. I shouldn't be drinking if I, you know, I'm not feeling 100% fair, but don't call me a drunk. I'm not a fucking drunk. If I was a drunk, my friends who were sober, who I'm very close with and have very deep conversations with about life, especially with one of my friends, his decision to go sober, like I was very much involved in that conversation and like, you know, whatever, they would tell me. So if that's something you're concerned about and you actually are concerned and you're seriously concerned and not trying to just be a fucking asshole, just know that I have friends who care about me, and if I had an issue, they would tell me. They would be very blunt and honest with me. And I only drink like 4 times a month. Like we drink at the end of the week at work because it's like, oh my God, it's like our weeks are sometimes just so brutal. And so it's, you know, but yeah. So that's that. Happy Friday. Okay, so that was a rant. But also, I just felt like I needed to get, like, my tolerance for that kind of stuff is just so, I don't have time for it, honestly. Like, I come on here and I don't troll you guys. I could if I wanted to. Like, I've said this before, I would be such a good internet troll. Like, you want to talk about Kim G? Mm-hmm. Oh, trust me, I could troll the fuck out of you guys, and I don't, because I just don't. It's not my thing. So, I come on here, I'm honest, I'm real. I keep it transparent with you guys. I'm trying to create a community here that is like positive and insightful, and I don't know. Okay, so we've talked about that. I've gotten that off my chest. And also, like, not just, the last thing I will say to that point is not just for me, because, like, you know, I'm, like, you know, I'm not a big channel, like, it's not whatever, but also, like, in addition to, like, you know, just when it comes to the internet and, like, comments and stuff like that, like, I really just want to advise people that sometimes comments can, like, for me, I'm usually good, like, I'll get heated for a split second, but ultimately it's not really it's not something that keeps me up at night, really. But just be nicer to each other on the internet. Like, if you, not just to, like, take me out of the picture for a second, like, I'm not here. I'm saying more in general. You know, like, you never know what someone's going through in their day, their week, their month, their life, their whatever it is. You never know. I know how hurtful sometimes, like, it can be when people are, like, mean, or you see other people being mean. So just, like, don't be an asshole. Today's advice is don't be an asshole. Yeah, because, you know, everyone ultimately, like, we all just want to be, you know, happy and have fun and escape life's problems, whatever the problems may be, big or small. And, you know, just don't be an asshole. That's really the end of that. So anyway, moving on to a different subject. Inspired by Jeffree Star, who, I'm gonna say it on here, I am a fan of Jeffree Star's. You know, this isn't gonna be a video about him. I could, if I wanted to, like, do a clickbaity video if I really wanted to, but I'm not about that right now. But I will say, like, overall, like, I was a fan of Jeffree, like, during the MySpace days, because I kind of related to that feeling like an outcast and, you know, wanting, like, being obsessed with, like, pop music and pop culture. And that scene back then was, like, very scandalous and, you know, edgy and mysterious, and you really only got your pop culture from paparazzi videos and, you know, X17 online and Hollywood TV. And so I loved that era of pop culture. And then as time went on, like, I was kind of turned off. Like, I was like, you know, he seems just like he wants to fight with people all the time, and I really didn't subscribe to any of that. I was like, like, whatever. But, you know, I think everyone can change and everyone can grow and learn and move on and become more mature, and that's part of life. I don't know. I just feel like he's really turned things around for himself, and he's really taken responsibility and ownership for his mistakes. And I respect anyone who, and regardless of what the mistake is, big, small, major, whatever, if you can at the end of the day be like, I fucked up and I apologize and I take ownership of that mistake, and you recognize the mistake that you've made or the thing that you've said that was wrong or something that you did that hurt someone, and you own it and you apologize for it, that's all I can ask of anyone, because we all fuck up. I've made mistakes before. I've said things that have hurt people. I've hurt, you know, people's feelings. And, you know, I've owned up to it. We all do. Every single one. You watching this video, you've made mistakes just as much as the next person. And I think for me, I respect someone who can own it, take responsibility for it, apologize, move on, and never do it again. that's part of life. That's part of learning. You know, I could tell you guys so many stories about, you know, how, you know, I've said something that was just fucked up and someone put me in my place and, you know, I learned a lesson, or that's a whole other video. But anyway, I was just really inspired that he was able to take such a dark experience in growing up and transform that into a multi-million dollar company and brand and business. And that's just so inspiring to me because, you know, it's dark, his past, and that has to be still, I'm sure, is still something he's overcoming really hard. Was that a fire alarm in my building? No, it sounded like something just went off. Anyway, but yeah, I was really inspired by it, and it's a really good series. Just check it out. I'm not going to talk about him and the series in this video. It was more so like something that I took away from the video that I thought was really inspiring for me, and it was in episode 4, which I didn't think was the best episode. It was the weakest episode of them all, but Jeffree was talking about the process of making a palette and how it takes 6 to 7 months to come up with the palette and the whole process. And I thought that was so interesting because that's a really long time if you think about it. Like 6 to 7 months is a really long time. And for me, something that I've been thinking about doing recently is projects that are more planned, you know? Like I have something coming out in the fall that is something that will be like 6 months of work that is coming to fruition. When I did spiceworldgifts.com, that was something, you know, I bought the URL 3 years in advance. I started making the content a year in advance. And over the course of a couple months, I filled up this Tumblr with content and then coded a layout and made a logo and sorted the entire Tumblr out by chronological order so that as you scroll down, it was like the movie progressing. And it was a lot of work and it took time, and it was something that I didn't rush. And that's kind of something that I want to start doing more, is like less like on the go, on the fly stuff that's just, fleeting, and more of these like thought out, planned projects. And I thought that was really cool. And I feel like they said they might do a series where they show like the process of a palette from start to finish, which I think is really interesting. I'm not a makeup person. I don't wear makeup. Well, sometimes I do. I wear a powder. e.l.f., not sponsored. As a creative, I can look at it as like a creative process. You know what I'm saying? So like I can be inspired by something. I can be inspired by a product even if I don't have any interest in it. Like I don't care about eyeshadow, but I would watch an artist. Like I watch makeup videos because to me that's art. I can watch, like interior decorating videos or interior design videos because I think that's art. That's visually creative and interesting to me. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaving this, and also speaking of long-term things, like the podcast idea is something I've been mulling over for a little while and have been on the back end experimenting with. And I have some equipment arriving tomorrow for new things that I want to teach myself. That's pretty much it for this weekend chat. This is, I think, a longer one, and this might be like a 40-minute weekend chat wig. Oh, I have my Crystal Wolf necklace on, by the way. Speaking of brands and creative things that I've been inspired by, I am loving this new necklace by Crystal Wolf, not sponsored. It is the Marcasite one. It's like a thicker chain. It's like this little shiny rock. Love it. Very cute, very chic. Obsessed. But yeah, like seeing Joey and Daniel come out with this whole new rebrand of their company was also so cool. And like that was obviously months and months and months of work. You know, like Daniel told me about all the new stuff that's coming in the fall, and I was just like, oh, like that's so cool. Like just how they plan stuff out and prep like a rollout, and just, you know, it's cool. I love it. I'm inspired by it. And so, yeah, that's all for this weekend chat. And my vacay has started. I don't return back to my normal schedule for 26 days. 26 days. 26. That is almost a month. I have to do stuff on Sunday, and also like next week I have some freelance that I'm wrapping up. But 26 days until I go back to my normal schedule. So we will see what happens. I'm starting to write out a calendar of like the stuff I want to work on, planning stuff out, chunking out time. And I think it's going to be great. I'm excited for it. I think, you know, I'm going to have more time here, you know, not have time restraints like I have to go to work or blah, blah, blah. Like I have to be up all night. So yeah, we'll see what happens. And yeah, let me know in the comments below how you feel about the podcast. And don't be an asshole in the comments either. So that's all for this weekend chat. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you have not already, and give this video a thumbs up if you like these weekend chats. And I'll see you guys on Twitter and Instagram, and have a great weekend. I will see you guys soon. Bye. It's Brittany, bitch. Shake your tits. Dunkin' Donuts.